Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Stevie Nicol, we've got Jules and Sid with us for it too. And we're going to start with our Iberian representative for the first question from Shaila Mugabo, who says, why is everyone disregarding Portugal's high chances of defending their title in the Euros, while they clearly have a stronger squad now and so much flexibility in their starting 11? Sid?
Well, despite being on the Iberian Peninsula, I'm not going to claim to be a big expert on Portugal. Why are people dismissing them? I suppose because of the overwhelming sense that France are favourites. I suppose partly because of the excitement around England and the advantage of them playing at home. I guess because you can never get away from Germany, no matter what. So perhaps just by having those three, and I'm sure I must have forgotten other people as well who have a very strong claim, just by having those three, perhaps that automatically nudges Portugal down the list. But I must confess, as someone who doesn't know a huge amount of Portugal, they came to Spain last week, and I was at the game against Spain, and I did look down the team sheet and think, wow, they really do have a lot of very good players. And I say this purely off the back of that game and various other snippets over the year, but no sense of real expertise. It didn't really function that well as a collective. So perhaps that's part of it. But yeah, I mean, there's no reason at all to assume that Portugal couldn't have a good tournament. Maybe the one thing as well would be that although they were winners last time, that was, by definition, I was about to say, by definition 4 years ago. Of course, it's actually 5 years ago, and that means a very different Cristiano Ronaldo. And perhaps part of the answer is that we focus so much on Ronaldo that back then we had more faith in him, perhaps, than we do now.
All right, Jules, next one for you. Harry Krishnan says, who do you think will be the breakaway star from the Euros?
Wow, that's a really, really good question. I think there's a few youngsters or upcomers, if you want, that we have to keep an eye on. I think someone like Jude Bellingham with England can potentially be one of the young stars of the tournament. I think Ryan Gravenberch with Holland as well, and they're only 18 years of age. I mean, Bellingham hasn't even turned 18 yet. So them two, I think you've got Jules Koundé for France, you've got Nuno Mendes for Portugal. We were just talking about Portugal now. You've got plenty of players. There's a young centre-back in Ukraine called Zabarny who had a wonderful season with Dynamo Kiev, who will be starting at the Euros for Ukraine, who's quite sensational. You've got Hozlek with the Czech Republic. You've got quite a lot of 18-year-old, 19, 20, 21 who could potentially be the young stars of the tournament.
That Holgate ender, might be a Borough fan here. Will Stevie be supporting England when Scotland are knocked out?
Absolutely not.
Why not, Stevie?
Not a chance.
Stevie, you spent so many years in England. How can you not get behind the nation?
Well, I was trying to convert them to the ways of the Scots, shall we say?
So
not a chance.
Not
Stevie,
a chance.
Stevie, who's your go-to team? On the grounds that Scotland aren't going to win it, and we I'm assuming that, and apologies for assuming that. Who's your go-to team, given that it's clearly not England?
France. I like the good
and your
teams.
French is so good as well.
I like good teams to win. You know, everybody, especially in the UK where we're from, it's almost like everybody wants the underdog. You want to watch good players and good football and goals and everything else.
And Jules said your French is fantastic.
Well, I'll just try and make it even better for you, Jules. But
can you give us a little French?
Bien sûr.
Pardon? See what I mean? I don't even have to think about it.
It was so good, I wasn't even sure what you said, like a native there. Jules, Kyle would like to know, is it true that Spurs are in advanced talks to sign Marcus Thuram?
It is true, yeah. It's not too advanced, as in like they will find an agreement tonight, I think, but they certainly have sped up the negotiation with Borussia Mönchengladbach. He's got 2 years left on his contract. Marcus Thuram, he's currently with the French national team. He will go to the Euros, and I think he's a wonderful talent. He still has a lot of things to work on his game and to improve, but certainly the potential is there. And I think it cost, Gladbach 12 million euros coming from Guingamp 3 years ago now. So I think Gladbach will make quite a lot of money on him, a big profit, and I think for Spurs it will be a very good signing as well.
That's one of my favourite place names to say, Guingamp.
Guingamp. No, it's Guingamp.
I don't think it is. Jerome Ashkenazi says, Sid, it's reported that Barca are ready to listen to offers for 17 of its players due to being 1.2 billion euros in debt. But do they actually have any saleable assets?
There's the question. And of course, that is the question in a way explains the start of that statement. The reason that they would be willing to listen to bids for so many of their players is because they're not sure what they can sell. And so, put bluntly, they're in a position now, they will sell whatever they can sell, within reason, of course. You know, they're not going to say, here, have Griezmann for zero, have a whole load of players for free, we're just going to let everybody go for nothing. But yeah, they're in a position where they desperately need to generate money. So that's the answer for you. The answer is they're not sure that they have sellable assets, and so therefore they've got to sell everything.
There's another question from the other big club. Divinash says, Sid, if somehow there are no incomings at the Bernabeau this summer, would you be surprised if they don't spend heavily next summer, considering fans will be back and the high earners like Bale, Isco and Marcelo all will have their contracts expire?
Oh, I think that's certainly right. I mean, if you listen to Carlo Ancelotti the other day, the thrust of his first press conference as Real Madrid manager now, obviously, this is partly conditioned by the fact that he kept saying, we haven't had a chance to talk about this yet, and he was telling the truth. They haven't. But the thrust of his message really was, don't expect a huge revolution, don't expect signings, I'll work with the squad I've got. But I think it's absolutely right to say that is something for now. And if Real Madrid were not to spend money this summer, and I think they will I still think they'll try and get Mbappe. I'm not sure that they'll succeed. In fact, I suspect that they won't, but I still think they'll try. Then, of course, they will look towards the summer after that and hope, for example, that the Mbappe situation has shifted. And as the question quite rightly puts it, by then some of the other higher up wage earners will be at the end of their contracts. And that would help. That would help them enormously.
We should probably answer Dan the Orange Man's question here because we never really get around to doing that on extra time. Stevie, what do you make of rumours that Liverpool will bring back a yellow retro third kit from your playing days? Did you enjoy wearing this
Absolutely
kit?
Fantastic. Brilliant. A little red pinstripe through it. Yellow shorts. Yeah, yellow and red shorts. Yellow red socks, magic.
Sid, did you like that kit for Liverpool?
I tell you what, Liverpool's away kit should always be yellow. Never mind the third kit, the second kit should be yellow.
There you go. I think everybody's agreed on the old yellow there. Sid and Jules, I'll start with you, Jules. Have you guys ever been confronted by players or managers for a piece you may have written on them or their respective teams? Jules?
Oh yeah, all the time. All the time. I had Djibril Cissé wanted a fight. I had Karim Benzema's agent wanted to kill me. I had so many stuff. I had the Auxerre manager Giroud, the legendary Giroud, calling me and calling me all sorts of names because I wrote a piece about some of his players. Yeah, but that's what happens. They always want to protect what they have and their team and their players, whether they're agent, managers or player themselves and their reputation. So if you write something they don't like, the best was the ratings. In France, we take ratings very, very seriously. Out of 10 in L'Équipe or Le Parisien, or even France Football, and the players don't like at all when they don't have good ratings because often they think or they believe or they were told by their family or their agent that they should have had a 6 or a 7 instead of the 4 that I gave them. So very often it was quite a feisty conversation afterwards.
I love it. I know for a fact, Sid, that this has happened to you as well. Care to share any stories?
It's happened to me a few times, not very many times, but it has happened a few times. I was actually struck by Jules talking about Giroud at Auxerre. I remember going to do a game in the what was at the time the UEFA Cup and commentating a game, and me and a colleague sitting there commentating the game, watching Auxerre, and sort of feeling this presence behind us. And we turned around and Giroud was standing behind us, watching us commentate, looking at the little screen and looking at the pitch. We're thinking, first of all, how did he get there? Secondly, why is he watching us commentate? Hasn't he got other things to do? And just sort of, there's Giroud just kind of looking, thinking, who are these strange men speaking English? And I'm going to be honest now, and forgive me for saying this, Auxerre fans, a really quite poor UEFA Cup game against a team that also wasn't a particularly big deal. And I suspect that more than anything else, Giroud was just trying to work out what on earth these two guys were doing. Now, he didn't say anything to us, but he didn't need to. It was just the way that he looked at us was more than enough. There's been one or two others, not really terrible ones, but I've had one or two others. I'm trying to think of one I can actually tell the story of. I'm not sure that there's too many that it's a good idea to reveal the story. Yeah.
Fair enough. We'll let you dodge that one. Pearson W. McDonald. This is a good question to end it with. And I'll start with you, Stevie. Would you rather live the rest of your life in a sailboat or live the rest of your life in an RV?
An RV, easily. Hate the water. Scared of the sea. Scared of the sea. Won't go near it.
So that was an easy one
Oh,
for you.
that was easy.
Where are you taking it? Where are you driving it to?
Anywhere but the sea.
Alright. Jules, what about you? A sailboat or an RV?
I'm with Stevie.
You're with Stevie.
I'm with Stevie. Yeah, the sea scares me as well. It's just so unpredictable. You know, you can go to sleep and it's all nice and quiet, and then you wake up and it's a storm, and then you're going to die. So no, it's not for me either.
Sid, you could probably do with an RV with the Spanish ground you get to on a weekly basis.
Sid's got one. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
He
I'd
went
probably
on
struggle to
holiday
park
last
it
year and
though.
what?
That's the only. Of those two options, I mean, is there not a third option? Is there not a none of the above option?
You need to tell Kay about your holiday in your
I mean-
RV. Come on, you need to. Like, she's looking at me like, what?
Yeah. We did drive around in an RV, and I vowed never to do it again. So.
Okay, so if you could have a third
you know, me
option.
going around the corner, and yeah, the third option. I mean, I could not just live in a house like a normal person.
Yeah, that's a good option.
Okay, so you were going around the corner in an RV and...
Yeah, well, it's fair to say that the cupboard doors were not particularly well fastened. So you go around the corner, you go. Admittedly, I'm going to make this. I'm going to be honest here. Went down the corner and down a curb as well. And there's a big thump, and all of the cupboards flew open, and there were literally glasses and plates flying at us from the back of the RV. That's a little bit. That was a little bit. It made more noise than real danger. But going up an RV up a hillside, yeah, that terrified me. Absolutely terrified me, looking down at the sea below and thinking, yeah, we're going over the edge of this. I didn't like that at all.
No, so the moral of the story is do not get in an RV if Sid's driving.
No.
That's pretty much it. He might have needed the sailboat
Definitely.
anyway if it
Put it
did
this
go
way, I
over.
didn't do hardly any of the driving for a reason.
But there you go, Sid, blaming the missus for the driving.
Gotta blame
Typical
somebody.
Sid, huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks so much for joining us on Extra Time. Thank you so much for your questions. Don't forget, ESPN FC is available daily on ESPN+.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.